Meeting will come to order. We're now holding a meeting of Upper Allen Township Board of Commissioners on October 1st, 2025. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Martin,
Present.
Commissioner Castranian,
Present.
Commissioner Cochran,
Present.
Commissioner Fairchild,
Present.
Commissioner Walsh.
By way of announcements, we're going to discuss our birthday party later in the agenda now that we're in our 176th year. But I just wanted at the beginning of the meeting to give a shout out to people that really made that happen, especially Alexis, Chad, Eddie, Corey, all of the staff in Upper Allen Township at one time or another helped during this event. Both the fire department and the police department were instrumental in during the event. And our Upper Allen Women's Club is just remarkable. Can't give enough of shout outs to them for just their volunteerism and organization and help. And so it was truly a community effort. And gosh, I wish we could have it again this Friday night. If you weren't there, you really, really missed a great time. This meeting will be live streamed for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the meeting will also be available afterward for anyone who cannot join in real time. We had with our meeting materials the minutes of September 3rd. Are there any questions, additions, or corrections?
Yes, sir. I have just a couple of changes I think that need to be made. Under public safety on the first line, it looks like the spell check changed the Upper Allen Fire Department golf outing to gold outing. So
It became gold.
became gold. They got that many sponsors this year. It's going to be a gold outing. So that should be golf. Going down under public improvements, when we talked about the Verizon franchise agreement, that's actually the Cohen Law Group, not our normal Cohen Segalis group.
And that's an arrangement through COG.
Yes. And then on the last page, next to last paragraph, when we were talking about the pension board, I believe I said that as of 2022, all commissioners have been attending as members of the pension board, not appointed. So, okay. Those are changes I have.
Any others?
Yeah, Mr. Martin, under planning and zoning, there's reference to data farms. And I would suggest we use the term data centers as that's more commonly used.
Okay. We're just being helpful with those, Alexis. I don't know how you take minutes anyway. It's a skill that I don't have. Any others? Chris?
I'll move that we approve the minutes subject to the revisions heard tonight.
Moved to second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carried, thank you. Visitors, we have some visitors that wish to speak on items on the agenda. I believe there are two that are not on the agenda, and first would be Bill Shepler. Could you come to the podium, please give us your name and address and address the board?
Mike isn't on.
Bill Shepler.
Oh, excuse me, Bill. Okay, there's a little, at the base of that microphone, there's a little thing
There
to
you go.
press. That's
green.
You're on. As long as it's green, you're on.
It's green. Okay, name is Bill Shepler, live at 353 East Meadow Drive here in Mechanicsburg. Trade on the corner of East Meadow and Fisher.
Okay.
The reason I came to express a concern about my neighbor's home who lives right behind me. That address is 2103 Fisher Road. The individual who owns the home no longer lives there. He's living down in Dillsburg. My concerns are this. The home is in such terrible shape. There are now 5 holes in the west side of the house where rodents are running in and out of the house. I have talked to Dwight about it. He said, I'll see if I can catch him. As far as I know, he got 8 squirrels and 1 groundhog.
I didn't get, who do you talk to?
His name is Dwight. I don't know his last name. He is the property owner.
Oh, okay.
But the house is currently on auction.
That's correct.
Oh,
He
okay.
comes twice a week to get his mail. And when he needs to, he'll come and
Okay.
cut the grass.
Okay, well, we will pass that along to our zoning officer and, sorry, and have that, and inspect that and make sure that, we address that.
Can I share just some other things real quick?
Absolutely.
The front of the house is nothing but mold on the front of the house. John Knob put that T111 on that, 30-some years ago before he sold me the lot. My concern is this, if there's a fire, Dwight will never know anything about it because he's living in Dillsburg. There's so much clutter around the house. If it catches fire, it's going to go up fast. There's an old barn behind his house, an old garage. There's weeds all around it. And I have a row of arborvitaes across the whole backyard that John installed years ago. Hope you understand. I'm concerned that the rodents will start chewing into the wiring and cause a fire. I don't know what you can do about going in, inspecting the home inside and outside, but anything you can do to help relieve my feelings, my concerns about a possible fire, I would really appreciate it.
Understood. And, and we have maintenance, ordinances too. And so we will have our zoning officer take a look and determine if there are violations, at which point then we have authorization.
Right now, I have met with Mike.
Oh, okay.
He's been over a couple of times. He's one who sent the letter to get him to cut the grass, take care of the lawn anyways.
Mhm, mhm.
So I understand, I know who Mike is, and we've had work together a little bit.
Okay,
But once again, just concerned because
the
no
state.
one's living there and the animals running in and out of the house. And the holes are about the size of softballs. You can see the animals going in and out all the time.
okay.
Any
Thanks
other
for
questions?
taking the time to come address the board.
Thank you, I appreciate
See
it.
what we can do. Thank you. Okay, Solar Williams, Paul Potok, traffic safety.
Thank you.
Do you have another or no?
Just for myself, I have here.
Oh,
Uh,
okay,
I didn't bring,
sure.
I have a slide I could put, but that might take too much time. My name is Paul Potok, P-O-T-O-K. I reside at 45 Emlyn Lane in Mechanicsburg, and I have for the last 25 years.
I'm sorry, did you say Emily?
Emlyn.
Emlyn.
On September 6th of 2024, there was a fatal auto accident at the junction of Route 114 and the northbound entrance ramp to Route 15. The newspaper articles allege that an SUV turned left in the path of a motorcycle that was traveling north on Route 114. They collided, and that resulted in the death of 41-year-old Zachary Bain from Gettysburg. I've made that turn thousands of times, and I was curious as to what could have contributed to that accident. The very next day, I was in that left turn lane going north on Route 15, and I sat there and I looked out in front of me and I saw nothing but wide open space, thinking, obviously the person in the SUV did not pay enough attention when they made that turn. Just as I was making the turn, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed 2 signs that I hadn't seen when I was concentrating on it. And you see in this diagram, it's the median sign, and it's that yellow diamond-shaped caution sign of some sort beneath it. And I thought, could those have caused some sort of visual obstruction to that SUV? I drove away wondering. Not 2 weeks later, I was back. It was a beautiful fall day, lots of traffic out, and I was at first in line to make that left again. And there were 5 or 6 vehicles coming north on Route 114 that I was going to have to wait to pass before I could make my turn. The last vehicle in the line was a motorcycle. And I sat there and I said, I wonder what's going to happen when that motorcycle gets up into my sight line with that yellow sign in particular. And to my shock and horror, he disappeared completely, 100% could not see him for that second. He was there, he was gone, he was there, and he was in the intersection. Had I glanced up at that moment and said, oh, everything's clear, and turned left, he'd have hit me. So that sign hasn't changed. Oh, actually, no, I'll get into that. But if you look at the diagram here, the top picture was taken in August of 2016. The middle picture was taken in August of 2021, 5 years difference between those two pictures. The lowest picture was taken in October of 2023, 11 months before the accident occurred. And you can see an obvious difference between those pictures. That yellow sign was moved down probably 2 feet. And it happened on all of the signs around those junctions between the on and off ramps and Route 114. Somebody made a conscious decision to lower those yellow signs. And when they did so, they unwittingly created a hazard where a blind spot occurs for people turning left onto Route 15 North. Now, I can't swear that that's what caused the accident, but I can swear to you that that sign is capable of completely obscuring a motorcycle as it approaches that intersection. And I believe the circumstances for this accident to occur are still in existence. I don't want to see that happen. None of us do. It may be 10 years, it may be 15 or 20 years before the stars align, because it's all sight line. And if you have to be at the right height, and you have to be in the correct part of the lane, the motorcycle has to be in the, but when that happens, this thing obscures a motorcycle entering that intersection. And I believe it should, at minimum, they should be raised back to where they were. That could maybe obscure the sight line of a tractor trailer, but it's not going to obscure the sight line of motor vehicles. I encourage you all to go to that intersection when you're turning left. I'm sure you all will. And it's not going to line up perfectly. You know, move your head a little left, move your head a little right, because you could be parked a little right in the lane, a little left in the lane. We don't know where the incident vehicles were when that happened precisely. But you will see that if you line that yellow sign up, it will completely obscure a car that's down near the Bumblebee intersection. As the car gets closer, it gets bigger and you can see the car around the sign. But a motorcycle gets obscured much, much closer to the intersection where it becomes very dangerous. So that's what I have to say. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for taking the time to discover that and point it out, and we will certainly have our Public Works Department and our Police Department take a look at it, and we have no doubt the truth of that statement. We'll see if we can adjust signs or maybe move them back or something, but you're right. We don't want, all vehicles deserve safety, bicycles, motorcycles, cars, trucks. So thanks for doing the illustration.
I just wanted to say, I think it's profound what you've done and the research. How did you get the pictures from like 2016? Okay, going back. So you put that time into, yeah.
Look what I say, one of those pictures actually has a label underneath it from its date and time. Very, 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 very difficult to see. Almost you need a magnifying.
I'll take your word for it. That's just one.
You need a magnifying glass to see it. That's.
And I would not have noticed offhand that they had lowered that yellow marker, looking at the entire picture. And that really makes a lot of sense what you're saying. And I think it's very helpful.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention. It may not have been lowered by our staff or anyone, because that's a PennDOT highway. So it might have been PennDOT staff, but regardless, we will follow through on that. Thank you. Anyone else that wishes to address the board on an item not on the agenda? There's no one else signed up. Okay. Moving forward then to the consent agenda, we have bills in the amount of $996,088.16. Are there questions on the bills?
Mr. Martin, I had a couple of questions or comments. There was a payment to the volunteer fire department for $171,461.
Mhm.
And I guess that's the pass through for the Fire Relief Association money from the state, I believe. I just wanted to verify that. Okay. And then there's some, just to mention that, the larger bills in this assortment are the, to Kinsley Construction for Grantham Pond, one payment of $109,191, and then a second payment of $162,660. And I think we're almost done with the project.
Mhm.
I just, maybe Chad's here, he could just say that. I mean, so I don't know how far the payments lag behind the actual work, but.
Yeah, they're about 2 weeks from completion. The pond itself is completed. We actually started refilling this week with water. And then they're working on the pier right now and they're expecting that to take about 2 weeks. So the payments are behind because the contract was for 740,000.
Sure. Okay, thank you for that update. And then another large payment was to Pensy Supply for streets and road work in the amount of $236,089. And I'm thinking that was the Whitebriar neighborhood, or is it Webercroft? It's not Webercroft yet.
It's probably Whitebriar. They just finished that up, the final paving on it about a week ago.
Okay, so everybody's satisfied with that, I take it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have for the bills.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Public safety, Chief Parsons.
Yes, thank you. Last meeting, we talked about the improvements to the intersection of South Market. The engineer was contacted. He's actively submitting the applications and getting that ball in motion to get that done. I learned today that the P25 radio system has been pushed back a few months to about mid-February of 2026. They are doing testing throughout the county of the new system. That's going well, but they just need a little bit more time. Would just like to thanks for the invite to the Fall Fest. Sergeant Dabrowski reported that there was a great crowd. He probably might need another officer next year. But he said many children mentioned that they knew Officer Sanguinito from school. So he's making his rounds for sure. And I'd just like to remind the public of several services the police department offers that I see a lot of people taking advantage of. One is we offer our parking lot for the exchange of property with online sales. The parking lot is surveilled with cameras. It's a safe area for that to happen. Another is our prescription drug drop-off box in our lobby. A lot of people take advantage of that. And we also have officers that are trained to install child safety seats for anyone so they can be properly installed. But other than that, I'll take any questions.
Chief Conkle.
Tom couldn't make it. He's a beach bum this week, so
Oh, darn.
he wanted me to pass along a few things. Reminder, the golf outing is this Friday. A good turnout, lots of teams, and it should be a beautiful day. We're on track this year to break another record with calls. We're already at 615, so it's looking like we're just getting busier and busier. Today we had 2 calls at the exact same time. So our daylight crews had to juggle that and split crews and accomplish the mission. So that's all I have.
Any questions or comments for either chief? Thank you. Moving then to planning and zoning, our first plan is Chipotle, who is handling that.
I guess before it starts, I'd like to let the public know I will be abstaining from voting on this plan since I'm employed by the developer's engineer.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Shannon Rosenko. I'm here on behalf of Alpha Consulting Engineers and Linlow Properties. We have submitted a revised land development plan for the mills at Shepherdstown Crossing. It's a revision for Unit 5, which was previously proposed as a Burger King fast food restaurant. They are now proposing a Chipotle fast food restaurant. The buildings are very similar in size and shape and contain approximately the same number of seats. The plan was reviewed by all of the staff and the memorandum And we are requesting no new waivers. And there's just mainly administrative comments left, so I'm available to answer any questions you have.
Did you have any heartburn over any of the comments, or are there any comments you feel you can't address?
No, we can
Okay.
address all the comments.
Questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the audience? Any questions or comments from other staff members? It's a quiet group. I will entertain a motion.
I did have one question,
Oh.
Mr. Martin. I mean, just an observation. I didn't know if it was in the conditions. It's probably not. But I think I heard that this is like an automated restaurant. There'd be like the people order on the app and drive through.
Oh, yes, it's
And
not,
it would not like stack the way maybe Chick-fil-A does or something. that they
correct. It's
move
not a
through.
traditional drive-through restaurant. You have to order on the app before getting to the restaurant, and you just pick your food up. You don't sit and wait unless you're in like a parking spot or inside.
But that's an option, but it's not a prerequisite, is it?
No.
Okay,
Well,
it's just like
And
McDonald's.
you'd have to go inside if you wanted to order the
So
food.
you cannot order verbally in the.
Correct,
lane.
there's no order window.
Oh,
Sorry.
guess I have to get,
Well, like,
I have to get
Yeah.
another app, okay.
There's lots of rewards.
Oh, I'm familiar with it from McDonald's and other restaurants.
well, I was going to say, I went into my old McDonald's, my old neighborhood by Cedar Cliff a couple weeks ago, and the whole like inside counter is gone.
Wow.
Like you were supposed to use that kiosk and there's like no people you see use that kiosk. And then I guess they come and put your food out on the counter.
Hopefully someone's back there making it.
So
Eric, the moral of the story is if you want to eat nowadays, you gotta be adaptable. You gotta change.
I gather.
Yeah.
So I like the in-person service, but that's just me. But
Any
Like
other,
there are
So-
humans at Chipotle.
any other questions or comments?
what's the bottom line on traffic as to,
The,
without really reviewing
change
how
in
many,
traffic?
how many more cars a day will be coming and going from?
you can handle it if you want.
Yeah, we actually,
Remember the protocol. You need
John Murphy, Alpha Consulting Engineers. We did take a look at the traffic, and Mark Allen, our traffic engineer, who couldn't be here tonight, submitted that to your traffic engineer, and they said they were fine with everything. There's no net change to the original approval. As Shannon mentioned, they're very similar in terms of seats and everything, so there was no net change from the original traffic approval. Thank you.
I think it'd be less than a Burger King, but.
I guess I wasn't remembering how many cars a day. That's all, just to have an idea.
I didn't bring the actual number, but it is less trips with this building.
Okay, it's still in the hundreds, I'm assuming? I mean, that's okay. if It's not.
I think we submitted a letter with the initial submission. It just says the change is less. I apologize. Well,
Well, I mean, we have verifications less, so when you find it, you can give that
Yeah.
directly to Eric, so. Other comments? I'd entertain action.
I move to approve. Second.
Been moved in second, and just for the record, this is in referencing, up around file PZ 2508-07. Been moved and seconded, and I'm assuming that's with the, conditions listed in the staff memo, Phil?
Yes.
And,
There are 29 conditions
there are
listed.
29 conditions, and may I amend your motion to just add that Since there are conditions on the approval of the plan will be rejected unless the owner applicant agrees in writing within 30 days to comply with and abide by the specific conditions of approval. Is that okay to add that, Phil?
Yes.
That's the motion on the floor, folks. Is there any discussion? Any comments from the audience? All in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Tell the developer of that particular lot that he has the best horticulturally landscaped corner in the township. And it's beautiful. Thank you.
Let them know when that clock's going off too, at the same time.
Thank you. The next item is zoning hearing board. It appears like 11 or 1206 South Market Street will be continued on October 9th. That's just a continuation, is it, Michael?
Just continuation. There are no other agenda items for October. So depending on what they want to do, they could get through the rest of the case this month.
Okay, thank you.
Can I request that we get, Mike, I don't know, the hearings have been going on for months now. Is there any way you can write a summary of what's been happening for the board at some,
Yes, I could do that.
thank you.
Oh, thanks, yeah. Anything else for planning and zoning? Moving then to public improvements, there's nothing on the agenda. Any reports or thoughts? Hearing none, sanitary sewer. We don't have any action. Still flowing. Administration, consideration of township municipal building solar array proposal, and that's been before us previously. And I think we have some representatives this evening, plus we have a staff memo from Lou, who is introducing this.
I can introduce it. I provide you with a copy of the memo. It talks about Lear Electric installing a solar array on the Township Municipal Building, Public Works Garage, and Salt Storage Building at an estimated cost of $672,000. The proposal shows $1.25 million savings over 25 years. It is a CoStarz project, so it does not have to be bid. It's already been bid by the state. And the deadline for to move forward on this, assuming the board wants to do that, is December 31st of 2025. Should the board agree to move forward with this project, there is one change. They did ask that instead of a 10% deposit of $67,200, and they can certainly correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is they're only asking $15,000 upfront once we sign the agreement. Is that correct, Chad?
Yeah, so it's a $15,000 deposit to sign the agreement, and then Lear would actually start work on the service side of things, not to exceed 10% this year. The main solar array would go in the first quarter of 26.
We'll make the necessary budget changes, assuming the board does take action to move forward with the balance or whatever that happens to be. So their actions are there in front of you. And I think the representative from Lear or someone may be here to discuss
And
any
for the
specific-
audience, this array will be mounted 100% on the roof of the building. There'll be nothing down on the ground level, correct?
Correct.
And then even though original proposal, we had suggested, or there was a suggestion, we put something in stormwater basins or parks, et cetera. That is not part of the initial proposal, but that is something I assume that we could entertain later and add, or is that work precluded? I know we wouldn't get the tax credit, but
Yeah, this is only for the township building. The other projects would be separate projects.
correct, it would be a separate agreement, but there would be nothing precluding adding more solar.
That's correct.
pro-
Down the road-
if we
down the
wanted
road,
to.
yes.
Okay. This doesn't preclude further work or further projects. Okay, gotcha.
But this is the only project that'll get the
For tonight,
26%
yes.
tax credit, and the only thing we're voting on
Yep.
tonight.
Exactly. And then I think there was a question about the structural integrity of the roof and all that. I'm assuming that, or is it correct, or should I assume that the installer and or the contractor doing the work would assure that the roof is of sufficient structural integrity that the roof's not going to fall in?
Yeah, part of the contract proposal is to have an engineer look at it structurally.
And then I believe, Eric, you had some questions about, facets, et cetera. I know that, have you seen?
I'm pretty satisfied, but I had some more specific questions about how it would actually be attached to the roof.
Okay.
And I still can't get a good look at this roof as to what, but my understanding is it's a true standing seam and the clamp will go on the seam itself. There'd be no penetration in the roof, which is, I think, a better, way to go. Obviously less risk with any roof leakage or anything, so.
All right.
Worked out well that we have that type of roof and we're able to do this. I guess I would say, you mentioned, Ken, it was discussed before, but not at the BOC, but more at what Public Improvements Committee.
At the committee level, that's
And,
correct.
We had a proposal back in May, and then that's when we talk about retention ponds and so forth, and we, asked for consideration putting more panels on this roof. So I went back and looked at the May proposal versus what we have now, and I noticed there was a 30% credit back in May, and now it's down to 26%. Although I would say I don't think it's necessarily driven by the tax credit. It seems basically by the economics of what electricity rates are doing, and it increased dramatically in the last 2 or 3 years. I'm not sure of the percentage, but I would say at least probably 25%. I don't know if any other board member has a feel on it, but they're definitely going up. So the way the numbers work, I mean, there's a 3.5% a year increase in electric rates built in, and that kind of favors the proposal, for payback. Although even if electric rates were flat, I think you would still pay back within the 20 years, probably less than 20 years. I wasn't sure in the proposal, there's a net system cost, like currently of 454,000, yet the proposal amount is 672,000. Is that difference like the labor or?
Are you referring to the 450 from May?
No, it's the 820. It's the 672, but you look at on the detail sheets, there's a net system cost of 454,743.
No.
That might be the cost for the actual solar array, and then the labor would be the others.
Right,
Yeah.
because it talks about the system cost. I'm assuming you're right, Eric. It probably references just the solar array.
It's the page that kind of looks like this. It's just numbers and at the bottom line is like an APY, I guess annual percentage rate return. But anyway, I expect the difference is probably labor markup. I mean, and the other thing about this is it's under the CoStarz program and we have that advantage of pricing.
I think you're right, Chad, because it is listed, the reference that Eric's making is listed under the subsection system cost. So I think that's equipment.
And then I think in that subsection, it comes up with a 25-year net savings of $1,006,000. Yet we're showing $1,250,000, and lose cover memo. I think Chad had an explanation for that. I'm not quite sure what.
Mike can correct me if I'm wrong from Lear, but I know we still have an excess of, I think 20,000 kilowatt hours with this, the way we have it set up right now. We still didn't actually drill down everything we can cover in the township. These were all just based on estimates over like our 3 months highest bills of the areas we're covering. So once we look into this a little more, we plan on using all those credits. And I think that'll get us closer to the 1.2 that you're looking at the top.
Because I mean, the building will produce more than we use.
Correct.
Yes. Us and the police department. I gather it does not include the fire department.
The fire department's included in the bill of this building. It's all on the same meter.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can net meter the system up to 2 miles. So we'll include some of the parks and some of the pump stations for sewer. So as much as we can get in there to cover.
Okay. Because I noticed, I mean, the municipal building is the largest user other than the Arcona pump station, I believe.
Any other
The
questions?
Arcona pump station's not in this.
No, it's not. No, I'm
Okay.
just in
Yeah.
terms of who's the biggest user
Township
Yeah,
within the
just
township.
for clarity, I didn't want the
Right.
public, the locations are in there right now are 903 East Winding Hill Road, 901 East Winding Hill, 900 East Winding Hill, Municipal Office, Fisher Park, Fisher Road, and Soccer Garage.
That's Friendship Park.
That's Township Friendship Park. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know how it got labeled out on our PPL bills, but
Yeah, I wasn't aware of a soccer garage. So that gives you a total usage of 269,000 kilowatt hours.
yeah, and we're producing 326, so we
Right.
can still include other locations.
So you've got 57,000 yet that you need to find a home for.
Yep.
Right, and we can offset the bills from those other locations. I believe that's how it works.
As long as it's
Okay,
within 2 months.
right.
Any other questions or comments? Any discussion from the audience? I would entertain a motion, and if you wish to accept that, make sure that you include that the deposit would be 15,000.
I'll move that we accept the solar array proposal and authorize the board president to execute the agreement and use capital reserve fund balance to pay the $15,000 deposit. And with a note that we're not to exceed 10% of the contract in 2025.
Second.
There is a second discussion. That's clear. Any comments from the audience now? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
No, motion carried.
Also want to note that, I mean, it was our Park and Rec director who spearheaded this, so it's nice to see that they go out of what they're normally in charge of and help in other areas of the township.
Well, if we save money running the parks with utilities, then he can have more for something else, right? So, no, but I applaud you for mentioning that, Rick, and also the fact that this township staff is so professional that we don't follow departmental lines. We follow aptitude and areas of interest, and that's heartwarming. So thank you.
I think it probably originated with maybe wanting solar on the new Park and Rec building, and it took off from there, but I appreciate you extending the logic and looking at the other facilities.
Okay.
Very helpful. I did have one final question. When is the work going to start? I would,
When were you planning this year? Yeah. Good. But I said the service side of things, they're gonna start probably in a couple weeks really, and
thank you.
Did we vote on that? Yeah, we did vote on that. Okay. Next item is the salary study proposal, and the board is aware of this, and just some background, and I'll take it off of Lou's memo, but during the budgeting process, we realized that we have good staff, but we haven't done any kind of salary comparison recently, and we want to make sure that our staff are compensated adequately for the job they do. And so in order to compare that with other municipalities and other like-minded job classifications, it was suggested that we, in fact, consider a proposal for a salary study. We got a response from NJ Hess, Nancy Hess, who had done one previously for the township, so she's not a stranger to the township. Initially, that study came in estimated to be $10,880. It would be conducted for all non-uniformed employees and completed in 10 weeks would give us information then to finalize the proposed salary and wage increases for our staff going into 2026. And we can make appropriate adjustments for the 2026 budget. And during the discussion with Nancy Hess, we realized that some of our job descriptions may not be up to date. And more importantly, in order to compare a truck driver in Upper Allen Township with one in Montague Township, we want to make sure they're driving the same kind of truck and have the same kind of requirements, et cetera. And in fact, that job titles were comparing like position for like position. And so in talking to her, she agreed to do that kind of job assessment, job classification assessment, and recommend changes as necessary for an additional $10,560, meeting with staff and with our HR department, et cetera. Now, the motion is suggesting that we have that completed in 10 weeks. I think realistically, the salary study in comparison would be completed, the actual job classification, and that rewrite might bleed over into the first 6 weeks of 2020. Not necessarily, but I want to make it everyone know that perhaps that job may not be done in the calendar year. So we have a proposal in front of us. We have met with, the board has met with Nancy Hess previously, and I believe that she's willing to implement the proposal and have it completed in 10 weeks if it's our desire. Comments, questions, and additional clarifications?
Yeah, Mr. Martin, I would say, I mean, I was impressed with Mrs. Hess and what she does. It's very specific expertise and data sources, and she's worked with a number of other municipalities. When I was thinking back when I was on the school board, and it used to be the capital area intermediate unit would do a salary survey of all the districts. And it's almost like if we do this, we should sell it to the CapCog or license it, because I think it's useful not only to us, but all the municipalities. And I don't necessarily want to see us compete with other municipalities on wages and to get into that. But I did have a concern about, the initial request of just to gather the data. And then when we get into the second part about job descriptions, more of the thinking that we are better off doing that in-house. We know ourselves better than the other municipalities. I mean, she can write our job description. I just see that as much more, taking more time and more labor intensive versus what we could do in-house.
Well, I believe just to answer that, when we were interviewing her, she had said that portion of the study will require her to meet with everybody and, on staff to make sure she has that. So I think she's including that. We are, as the staff is assisting her in writing those descriptions.
And she would certainly work closely with our HR department, but we need to recognize that our HR department is one who is very busy anyway. So I think in collaboration and information, our HR director will be instrumental in working with Nancy and collaboratively, but I believe it would be unfair to ask Jacqueline to do an additional.
I guess I assume we already had them. But
We have some
fine.
now, but with some of the, with the number of departures that we've had, we've been shifting some responsibilities around. And so we want to make sure that that the shift gets readjusted if necessary. And I think she's going to come in and talk to our HR and staff to just get a clarification of what they understand their duties are versus what we may have in a job description. So I think that needs to be done, and probably with somebody on the outside looking at it, not just a staff member that says, I think these are my duties, but they may not necessarily coincide with what the manager or assistant manager thinks they should be. So I think, like I said, with a number of changes that we've had recently and shifting of duties, I think it's best that we probably update those job descriptions, because it's been probably 15 years since that's been done.
And just for the record, when it's last done, it was done by Nancy. So this is not our first encounter with her. We used her once before. And again, as Lou was saying, you almost need a neutral arbitrator sometimes to make sure that the descriptions are really accurate. And people tend to embellish what they do sometimes. So I think it worked out very well for us before.
So my point is, right, we do have current descriptions. They just,
We do.
they need up.
We do. Yeah, they do.
That's
Yes.
where, I guess I was a little unclear as to what
Right.
the
And
intent
one other
was.
note, one of the other reasons I thought we should bring this to the board is we just had somebody leave our public works to a neighboring municipality with a substantial pay increase. And what I'd hate to see happen is we lose others because word of mouth is that there's others, municipalities that are looking for trained staff that would depart and go elsewhere for more pay. So if it's out of alignment, hopefully Nancy can get that adjusted for us quickly and make the necessary adjustments.
Okay. Any other questions? Is there proposed action?
I'll move that we accept the proposal from NJ Hess to conduct a compensation market study and job study with the salary study portion being done in 10 weeks at a cost of not to exceed $21,440.
Second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion?
Can I make one note?
Yes.
There was a condition in there that if there's some extra trips or other things like that that may be necessary, that there could potentially be some added cost. I just wanted to bring that up. So
Yes, you're right. That was, I think that was for reimbursement of expenses. It
Yeah.
wasn't for additional compensation, right?
maybe without prior approval.
Do you want to amend that motion
I'll
just to say
amend
that?
that to include the
Reimbursable
additional
expenses.
reimbursable travel expenses.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Been moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. We will communicate that to her. We did have on here discussion about some real estate that's township owned and possible sale action. And I believe that since that, we found that we can't sell land we don't own, and we're not sure about that. So go ahead, Josh.
Yes, I looked at this. The current deed for the property is in the name of the Upper Allen Township School Authority, which was an authority that was created in 1951 and terminated in 1989. And according to the certificate requesting termination of the authority, the purpose of the authority was to float bonds for purchase of real estate and construction of school buildings. When the bond issues were retired, the authority transferred the properties to the school district. I've been unable to find the instrument conveying this particular property back to the school district from the authority. But given the purpose of the authority and its subsequent termination, it's likely that the school district owns this property. And I've also found no evidence that the township ever owned the property. The authority is a distinct entity from the township.
Okay.
So are you going to do a complete title search or are you just ending it there?
Do you want us to do a complete title search?
Personally, I don't think it should be whoever wants the land should do the title search.
Okay.
And they can find out who owns it. We don't need to spend our money on you to find that out.
Okay.
That's just me.
Well, no, I think, and if in fact it's owned by the authority, the school district or whomever, I mean, I would think the school district would want to know if they own that land. And so maybe they'll do that title search. I certainly think we should keep track of it. And if there's any hint that we own it, then maybe we can consider a sale or doing something with it. If the school already owns it, it seems to me that that's logical because that's the only entrance that the school district, who now owns the former Hess farm, has, and the Everly tract, has to get into their land off of Market Street. So if I were the school, I think it would be important to have access to that.
That's the way I saw it, but Mike, could you highlight the school tract or? No, I mean the big parcel, the school.
Well, that is
district owns.
it, right there.
That's it.
Yeah. That's
I forget what it is.
that's the Hess-
30 some acres or something. 27, I can't read it.
That's the Hess farm, and then,
And that's like their only way into it.
no,
No,
Gettysburg Pike or English Drive.
Right, I mean off South Market.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right, you're right. And then the remainder, the land that is up for consideration for another sale is the former Everly tract. Marlon Everly owned that, his estate. So,
Just for the public's awareness, I've shared with board members that my recollection, and it's hearsay, so I don't have any documents to present, but that this tract of land was used for a sand mound for the elementary schools when they were built, because the township did not have sewers at that time. And I know someone who used to go up there and work it in the summer. And that when the township put in sewers and came through, the comment was that they thought it was transferred to the township in lieu of tapping fees, that they ran the sewers to the schools and in return got that piece of property. But I don't know that as a fact. But I do know as a fact that it was the sand mound and it was the sewage system for the elementary when it was first, Shepherdstown was first built up there.
if it was no tapping fees, we gotta get it back then. No, I'm teasing.
And if township was the owner, wouldn't we have to put it out to bid if we
Yes.
wanted to sell it?
Yes.
Versus, these appraisals and all that, I mean, I'm not sure that would.
Yes, it would have to be appraised and sold, it would have to be
It's a
put out
bid
for
when it
bid.
goes out to be sold, is what
Yes.
I think is the
Yeah.
correct way to
Just
do
like the
it.
Lambert property and the lot down off McCormick.
So with that discussion, and now that we're enlightened, I think we will pass over that issue because there's no action to be taken. Moving then to the CVS property, and we're all aware of that, the tax discussion, and the school board is primarily involved. And I did find out the school board is suggesting that an appraisal be done with the Gleason Real Estate. Our portion of that, since we both have interests, we're a taxing authority, as is the school board, who is the larger taxing authority. So of the proposed $5,000 cost to have this appraisal done, our proportionate amount would be $694. Questions, comments?
Is the
Go ahead.
public aware of why this is happening?
I don't know. Why don't you tell them?
Well, this is happening in response to CVS requesting a lowering of their property taxes. They've
Yes.
filed an appeal with the county. So we're going to fight it and best we can and see if it'll go down, but hopefully not as much as it would have gone down otherwise.
So I think there's a bigger issue here. Could somebody put the property mapper back up? We're in our budget season now, and we're looking at what our tax collections are. And I know I suggested it last year that we should be working with the school district to review the assessments in general in the township. Just as much for fairness, because, when you look at this, or you have the CVS up there, I mean, it shows a total value of 4.7 million. And then if you just hop around that parcel or look at Paul B has several parcels and maybe they add up to $2.5 million. The Hess garage on the one side, I think is assessed at 676,000. The new, this one really stuck out to me. The new 7-Eleven is obviously a corner property. I always thought they were more desirable. It shows a sale price of 5.6 million. Sale date of August 6, 2025. But yet the total value, which I'm assuming is the assessed value, is coming in at 1,639,700. So I can't explain it, but I think we need to understand, how the assessments are working and are they fair? That just doesn't seem fair in relation to the CVS parcel at 4.7 million.
So I think your suggestion is valid, but I don't know that that precludes us from addressing this attempted reassessment and trying to protect our interests there, correct?
Right, but I I didn't get into that, but I
No.
mean, there's Rite Aid stores, maybe they're all closed at this point, but that's a comparable building. I just think CVS has a very good case to ask for an adjustment. And what I think one appraisal came in at 4.1 million versus 4.7 million as the assessment. That just seems a fair compromise without having to contest it. And because in addition to the appraiser, we're going to have legal fees.
True.
And
But they
I think
contested,
it's
so
just good faith to CVS of the hardship that industry is facing that, I can't see making, contesting it.
Just on
are
the
you,
comment about legal fees, the township solicitor doesn't generally participate in this appeal process. It's handled by the solicitor for the school district, so they bear the vast majority of the legal fees. Now, the school district solicitor will keep me informed of what's happening and ask if I have any objection to what's happening, but
And have you ever had any discussions with them about a joint review of the appraisals? I mean, we know that Cumberland Valley and Hampton or some of those townships are together. Working on,
I'd be
and
happy to follow up with
And
him
in that
about
case, they're
that.
trying to get the assessments raised on a lot of properties, and I think they've been successful.
I'd be happy to follow up with him about that.
Yeah, just looking at the bigger picture, or at least have an understanding of where they stand on that, because other municipalities are working with the school districts.
So Josh, help me understand, because I get confused in this, but our county has not reassessed since 2000, maybe 1990.
11, I think,
Hmm?
2010, 2011.
So the assessed value is supposed to represent the value as of 2011. And the sale value represents what it actually sold for. So that's why those numbers are sometimes so different, because you're trying to take 15 years worth of market growth off of the price. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
so, I think it's a good discussion, and I think we have some more planning and discussion and work. I mean, I think to look at other properties in township merits consideration. But we're in a situation now where this appeal is in process, so I think, we should, if it's the will of the board, take action. So in fact, we can go to the table with.
Give them a response, and I appreciate you bringing it to the board that there's public discussion about it.
Yes.
So I guess we're looking for our participation in the school district's appraisal services, appraisal services of $694.
Yes.
Okay. I would entertain that by way of motion if someone is so inclined.
So move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
We moved in seconded discussion. Any comments from the audience? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No,
Motion carried 4-1. Okay, anything else for administration, Bo?
That's all we have.
Okay, Park and Rec. Oh. Anything, Chad, other than the party? Do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about other than that?
I can go over a couple of our projects. Do you want me to do that first, or do you want to
Let's do that first.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, Grantham Pond is about 2 weeks out being completed. Like I said, the water was turned on. We're expecting that to actually be full, hopefully by the beginning of next week.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Well, that'd be
I
fun.
reached out to Fish and Boat Commission to see about getting it stocked with fish. I didn't receive an answer yet, but for prior conversations, that's still on the table. Down at Winding Hill, the open space was completed. We actually mowed that for the first time today, so that's growing in pretty well. And then just an update on the train viewing platform. We did discuss it at Park and Rec, and they would like to reschedule the grand opening. So I'll be in touch with you guys about that at some point with a date.
And now, on our agenda item, update on Fall Festival 2025. So, wow. Do you want the honor of going first?
Yeah, sure. I put together a slideshow, some
Okay.
pictures and videos, and then I'll kind of describe the event. So I want to first emphasize that this was the largest community event we hosted. We had an estimated attendance of over 5,000 people. This was our third annual Fall Fest. This is our first Fall Fest with good weather. The event consisted of 45 craft and community vendors, 11 food trucks, plus a concession stand, inflatables, which were funded by Alba Orthodontics, who also funded staffing for that. Petting zoo, children's activities provided by a couple of church groups, which was spearheaded by Lane Lebo and McBick. We had 4 live music groups, public safety area featuring the police, fire, sheriff's office, search and rescue. We also did a live vehicle extraction demonstration in that area. A few extra things we did this year, with it being our 175th, was we had a history tent showcasing the township's history. And we also had a memorable night-ending drone show, which was fully funded by a number of sponsors and community members, which Ashcombe, the Willows of Ashcombe was our premier sponsor for that event. With all that, it really took a team to make all this happen. The 175th committee, volunteers like Jim Brenglinger, who captured 120 photos that night for us. The history committee, Phil, Epi, Savi, Public Works and Impact Traffic Control, our park staff with the setup, hay rides during the event and tear down that night. I also want to pass along my extended gratitude to Alexis, Eddie, and Karen with the Women's Club, in which this event wouldn't have been possible without them. Alexis also went above and beyond with advertising, numerous Facebook posts. We had some radio ads with Link 104 and articles in the Sentinel. And in coordination with the Women's Club, we also had a food drive benefiting New Hope Ministries, which collected 360 pounds of food and non-perishable items. And we started planning for next year's Fall Fest, and the date will be Friday, September 25th, 2026.
Thank you, Eddie. Jeff, I think you had. You needed pictures of the drone show. That was phenomenal. Jeff, did you want to address the board?
I'm actually on Jeff Williams, 334 East Meadow
Oh,
Drive.
there you go. You got some drone show. Great.
There you are. I am actually briefly commenting from 2 groups. First is the dog park committee. There are a lot of dogs there and they appreciated the drone show because fireworks, I know our attack pug completely goes crazy with fireworks. So that was absolutely spectacular. And that is passed along from the chairperson of the dog park committee, my wife, Carmen. So I have to make sure I mention that. Secondly, I think I can speak for the Park and Recreation Advisory Board, how thrilled we were. There are several of us there. Had the opportunity to talk to a lot of people. I think all of the accolades tonight expressed by several people for staff and for Alexis in particular, Chad and Eddie, are well deserved. I am not sure that the township understands quite yet the amount of work and stress that goes into a festival, any festival. I have personally been involved professionally with festivals, from small community festivals up to festivals, 30,000 people. And the stress over a period of time is enormous. But the planning, the execution, the cooperation between the different departments in the township, I thought was exceptional. And Carmen is also from Parks and Recreation. We're critical. When we go to something like this, we're always looking at stuff and we can't help it. But we totally enjoyed ourselves. Of course, we were sheltered in the dog park, booth, but I was just so impressed and thank you guys again. I can't say it enough. So that was my pitch tonight. I did want to go on record for saying that because in our professional opinion, it was well done. We can't find anything that could be improved. Their ability to be flexible when you have a festival, to be able to adjust that day at that time for things that happen is difficult, and our staff was exceptional. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that I've never seen a drone light show before. That was spectacular.
Was it, though?
I was just sitting there watching this thing. I had no idea just how good that was going to be. So thanks again for lining that up.
Yeah, I was in an area with, along the softball fence with a lot of young kids next to us, and they were just in awe, you know. It was, I think they really liked the sliding board and the swing. Those were the two that got their attention the most. But it was very, very well done, and I know there was concerns back in September about the cost and whatnot, but I think that was money well spent. And again, not one penny was taxpayer money. It was all funded by sponsors. So good job in getting the sponsors too.
You were talking about the playground. I was amazed just the ladder truck, and the ladder actually went up, and then it came to, it was, I still can't quite imagine drones flying around being that coordinated, but it's amazing. I mean, got my attention. So yeah, it was great. I've already gotten questions in the community. Are we going to have a drone show next year? So I think we must.
Our plan is to put some feelers out and see if we can get 2 or 3 big sponsors.
Sure.
And that's all we go after, just to sponsor the drone show.
Yeah, I think given the appearance of the Ashcombs logo at the very opening, I think show that to whoever you're talking to, and you tell me with 6,000 people staring at that thing, that isn't a great investment.
We have marketing material now, so.
Yeah, they'll have marketing material for moving forward. Yeah, so I thought that was really great. I'm glad we have a date for next year. And by the way, I told Commissioner Walsh privately, but I will say it publicly. I was the doubter and in the planning of taking our model Shepherdstown General Store out to the event in the park, and I thought sure it was going to break and fall apart and all kinds of things, but they pursued anyway, and it is safely back in the display case, and it's not damaged, and the display case got cleaned through the process. So Phil, my hat's off to you. You pulled it off. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Judy.
So I have to say my name.
Yes, you can.
Oh, Judy Bailey, 450 East Lisburn Road. I got to be part of the cleanup crew, helping with moving the store. And I just wanted to celebrate the guys that were doing the cleanup. They were there was like a great football team running around there cleaning up the tents and the chairs, and their attitude was wonderful. They were just really, it was really, they got in and helped us move the stuff out. So I wanted to give them they were like the silent little worker bees.
Everybody was ready to go home at that point.
Yeah.
Just a quick shout out to John Mengel. Just a quick shout out to John Mengel, who really supervised the moving of the model and the subsequent cleaning up.
And Cody's not here, but make sure, or Corey rather, make sure that you pass along. His staff kind of took charge of the parking and the traffic control. They did a phenomenal job. And unlike my alma mater, who has good traffic control at the beginning of a football game and lousy traffic control after the football game, Cody's group had excellent control and organization both before and after the festival. So pass along our kudos for that. It was well run. Okay. Anything else for Park and Rec? Solicitor update? Anything with that?
No, nothing tonight.
All right, tax collection, I don't suspect we have anything. Might mention that Council of Governments had their annual golf outing and picnic. Some of you were at the picnic. I don't know if anyone golfed, but just so to know, their net proceeds from net profit from the golf outing was $19,798. So they were pleased with that. MAB met recently?
Yeah, we met Monday evening. I'll circulate the formal notes, but items that were discussed, going off what the chief said, the radio project update, they're saying Valentine's Day 2026 is their day for that to go live. And they said that they had tested 1,960 grids and 11 of them failed for coverage. So they're still working on that. County commissioners complained that they couldn't finish their budget because no state budget was completed. The county did say, Chief, that I'm not sure if we're aware, there's a walk-in mental health place in Harrisburg called Connections. That, I don't know if we utilize that, but they strongly urge to take people there and not take them to the emergency room if that's a, decision that can be made in the field. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. We don't have a report from the State Association, but Eric, it reminded me, you raised a question about during our salary study about working with other groups or getting information. And I think we did check with the State Association, but they do not release so you had suggested that, which was a good one, but we couldn't get that. And similarly, COG hasn't done a salary study in recent years, so.
I did bring that up at the MAB meeting, and the Pennsylvania Association of Boroughs did a study that they would release if we knew someone from a borough that could obtain it.
Well, maybe that's something that Nancy Hess can get her fingers on. Okay. Any comment from public? Okay. We will go into a brief executive session to discuss a IT vendor issue, and I don't believe we'll take action. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. Go home and watch baseball.